Well, hey there, Changemakers. Welcome to the Dare to Begin Small and Mighty podcast. I'm your host, Amy Van Meel, and I'm here to inspire and teach changemakers like you, entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, and people who are doing big things in the world, some tips, tricks, things about business, and we're doing some personal growth on the way. With that, let's dive into today's topic. Hey there, podcast listeners. I'm so excited that you're joining me here today on the podcast. I am jumping out of my chair with excitement today because, as I told you guys last week, I have Paige Cole on the show today, and I'm super stoked that she's here. I have to say I was a little bit fangirling this morning to my guy. I'm like, you won't believe who's on the podcast today. So let me give you a quick introduction to Paige if you're not already familiar with her. So Paige Cole is a master mindset coach, a business strategist, an NLP practitioner, an author, a speaker, and an entertainer. She coaches dancers to maximize their hustle inside and outside of the club through her money manifestation expertise and entrepreneurial coaching. I love it. Welcome, Paige.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and so honored that you asked me to be on your show. So I'm super excited to be here.
Yay. So Paige is fresh off, she was just telling me a minute ago that she's fresh off another interview. So girl's working today.
Interview vibes, baby.
Yeah, baby. Now, first of all, I am a huge fan of birthdays, and I understand that you just turned 30.
I did.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Dirty 30. We just get better with age. That's what I think. Age and Botox. I had some Botox yesterday.
Too funny. You know what? So I'm 35 now. When I turned 30, I wasn't freaked out, but as I got further into my 30s, I'm like, should I be doing things differently? And then I realized the other day, I'm like, every year that I gain into my 30s just gets better and better. So yeah.
I can't wait because I just turned 30, so I'm super excited. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you. All right. So I wanted to bring you on the podcast today because I've been following your Instagram and listening to your podcast for a few months, and I love the information, the content that you put out. And what really got me excited, and the reason I reached out, is that you are claiming a fairly a fairly small niche, and I love it. I love how bold you are about it. I'm super excited to hear more about it. In last week's episode, I let people know I'm stoked to talk about it, and I didn't tell them anything about what it is. So I would love to ask you to share with the listeners what the niche is that you've claimed, and what prompted you to make the decision to finally claim it.
Okay, beautiful question. So in my intro, my bio, you said entertainer. Now, when you think of entertainer, that could be so many different things. But what my niche is I am a dancer, or commonly known as a stripper. We don't refer to ourselves as strippers. We refer to ourselves as dancers or exotic entertainers or something like that. But yeah, I am in fact a stripper, and I have been actually a stripper for 11 years. I'm 30 years old now. I started when I was 19 years old. Oh. And so I have done this for 11 years. And I started my online coaching business. And when I started my online business, I actually did not mention dancing. And in fact, in my life, my friends and some of my family knew I was a dancer, but I never publicly on social media would ever talk about it or let people know, or any other outside entrepreneurial endeavors I have done over the years. I never told anybody about it ever. I always hid it. And I was never ashamed about it or whatever, but I just am very aware of the judgment that comes with it. And so I just wanted to avoid that. And, in being a coach, being an online coach, and a manifestation expert and all of this kind of stuff, it's crucial and important to be aware of your energy and to be aware of the energetic blocks that you are putting out for your own success and for yourself. And what are you telling the universe? And I started working with a coach myself, actually, and she knew I was a dancer because she's a friend of mine. And she told me, she's like, you have to be honest about it. And this was like the one thing in the world I literally didn't want to do. Like the one thing I was like, I will do anything to be successful and make my business run. I will not do this. Right. But then I sat back and was like, I'm here to play a big game. I'm going to do it. So I just did it. And you know what? Because I had this block that I was telling the universe, if people knew I was a stripper, they wouldn't hire me as a coach.
Right.
And that, quite frankly, is bullshit, because that's not true. Because just what I do for money doesn't make me not a good person or a good coach or anything. And in fact, being a dancer has taught me so many things over the years, like with psychology and sales and mindset and positivity and just body image and like all of this stuff that is in fact implemented into my coaching. And so owning it and just being outright with it and just like putting it out there shows the universe like, hey, I'm not judging myself anymore. And I don't quite frankly care what you guys think about it, because it is what it is. Also, the riches are in the niches, baby. And so when you niche down, you attract the people into your business.
I love it. I love that you also talked about the idea of like the blocks that you're putting out. And so I look at you as like the money manifestation mama. Like you are like the magnet of manifesting money in. And I love that about you. Now, I had heard you also talk about in a podcast interview of your own, the idea of putting blocks out there, like blocking the inflow of money. And you just talked about that too, with regard to your niche, creating this block that you can't receive in that way. How can we identify a block like that and move around it? Because not everybody has a coach that can be like, hey sister, you need to work that out. So what's a great way for them to be able to identify something that they might be like, oh, I really don't want to do that?
Yeah. So great question. So when I think about a block, it makes me go back to the basics, right? And because a block is something that it's a belief that we are believing to be true. And what is a belief in general? A belief is a thought that you think over and over again with enough conviction and enough passion that you accept it to be the truth. And since you accept what your beliefs are, you can choose to believe something that serves you or believe something that doesn't serve you. And so like in regards, let's talk about money blocks for a second. In regards to money blocks, if you believe something about money, that's your own belief, because you are putting the limits on, you are putting the rules on, you are putting the block on that yourself. And once you realize that, you can take a step back. And then you can choose to believe something differently, something that's going to serve you. So an actual example of that would be like a money block that some people have is rich people are greedy. I don't want to be rich. I don't want money because all rich people are greedy.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, where did that thought come from? First of all. Second of all, find information to demystify or debunk that, right? Tony Robbins is incredibly wealthy and he's not greedy. Oprah is incredibly wealthy. She's not greedy. Think about all of these people who have a ton of money and who are in fact very giving and generous and compassionate with their money. And so that's kind of like a way to do your own internal things, is like, if you're thinking of something that is like, you want to do something, oh, but I can't do it. It's like, why can't you do it? Like, when did you decide that was going to be true for yourself? And look for reasons and look for evidence to support the opposite.
Right. I'm riveted here.
I feel like I went on a tangent, but it's okay.
No, I love it. And here's the thing. I know, so I'm a perpetual learner. I'm always absorbing information. I have a coach right now that's like, you need to just stop. We need to do some work. And I'll unleash you later before you get to go out and bring more in. But one of the things that lots of people talk about the idea of having these blocks and that you need to clear them, but there isn't as much information about what does that actually look like? And, I haven't heard many people that say, you chose to believe that. I think you're the first actually that I heard specifically say, this thought that you've created into a belief, you chose to believe it. So you can also choose not to believe it.
Amen. You can choose to believe something that serves you and that moves you forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, I love this. I did your $1,000 manifestation in 3 days challenge a couple months ago, I think, and I loved it. So I still get the emails, and I wanted to read this section out of one of your emails. Money doesn't change who you are. It is an amplifier to you as a human being. Since you are already a heart-centered person, it only enhances those beautiful attributes. In fact, learning more about money and calling more of it into your life actually serves and lifts those around you. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Good. Who wrote that? Love it.
Yeah, so that's sort of what we talked about a second ago with regards to the blocks, but can you expand on that a little bit more? I mean, I understand, but for those people who are, new to the idea, just the fact that money, it just enhances who you are already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so this is like another money block that people, they come across is they think that it's selfish or it's greedy to learn about money. And when people have that block and they think that, it's like, well, let's like break it down a little bit more. Why do you think that? And a very common saying or a common thought is that money is the root of all evil. In fact, that statement is not true. It's the love of money is the root of all evil, or rather what people are willing to do for the money. Money itself is not good, bad, right, or wrong. It is just a tool. And it's a tool that you can use however you see fit. Same way a knife is a tool. You can use that knife and you can cut and prepare a meal for your family and feed them and nourish them. Mm-hmm. Or you can take that same knife and you can like hurt or murder someone. Now, right. Was it the knife that was good, bad, right, or wrong? Or was it how the knife was used in both of those situations? And so it's the same thing with money. Money is a tool and it doesn't change who you are. And so since it's a tool, it's going to allow you to shine yourself brighter and to make more of an impact and create more ripples into your family, life, community, world, in your reach out there. And so the more money you have and the more that you learn about money, the better everything gets, because if you have more time and you can leverage your resources more, you can, show up for people who need you to show up. You can have more of an impact. You can touch more people's lives. You can donate money to charities. You can give back. Like there are so many good things that come with making more money. And so it's of my belief that if you don't want to learn about money and you don't want to call more of it into your life, like you're doing a disservice to yourself and you're doing a disservice to the world.
Love it. So when you were talking about, I think this is a fantastic example, the idea of, money is a tool, a knife is a tool. If someone hands you a stack of like $1,000 bills, that doesn't turn you into this like crazy greedy person. It's the same that like if someone hands you a knife, it doesn't instantly turn you into a murderer, right?
Exactly. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that knife? What are you going to do with that money? How does it feel to receive that money? Yes. Someone I talk, that's an example I give in my challenge is like, to like feel the feelings of money is if I walk up to you and I put like a stack of 10 grand in your hand, like, what are you going to feel?
Right.
And think about those feelings and step into those. And someone reached out to me during my challenge and was like, I would feel really excited, but I also would feel guilty because I didn't work for the money or I didn't earn it. And I was like, right there is a money block, a subconscious, deep-rooted money block, because you are worthy right now as you are of receiving all of the money. You don't have to do anything to receive money. Like you are worthy of it right now. And so that was a really great, like teachable moment for her to reach out to me like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I know lots of people, when it comes to worthiness, use the example of the baby, right? When a baby is born, a baby doesn't do anything to be worthy of being loved and taken care of and cherished. And, so why do we have this? Yeah, they just are. And I mean, who doesn't love babies? I don't love them when they're screaming, but otherwise, I think they're the bomb. I think they're, yeah. It's like, you go back to your mama now. I'm okay. Yeah, that's a concept that I think as adults, it drives me a little bit crazy, and I see it all over on all different scales, that we have these messages that came through from, before when they were useful, and now they aren't. Our world is very different than when these sayings or mantras were becoming the norm. So now we're kind of saddled with all this stuff that's not helping us out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I want to talk about the numbers because you just went on vacation.
Yes.
I love it. I was loving that you were in Dubrovnik. I was in Dubrovnik a couple years ago. That was an experience, let me tell you. So I hope you went swimming because it's amazing.
I did. It was it was beautiful.
Love it.
So you shared openly the cost of your vacation, not just like the actual physical cost of going on the vacation, like your flights and hotels. You also talked about the opportunity cost. And then I noticed in one of your, you have a monthly email, I think that came out, and you broke down your monthly income as well. So I'm really curious to know why you share the information. Is that like, is it scary for you? Are you just like, what's behind it? Because I'm really fascinated by the idea of just being like, look, here's what it costs. This is what I make. This is what we're talking about.
I love that you asked this question because I have a lot to say about it.
Perfect.
So number one, okay, was I scared to put my self out there like that with my finances, that transparent? Fuck yes, I was very scared. But here's the thing. Okay. With money, the more that you talk about it, the more that you normalize the conversation, the better. The more it's going to just be a normal, regular thing. And when a lot of people, especially older like my mom's generation and stuff, very secretive about money. Money, you don't talk about money. Money is taboo, hush, hush. And this creates a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings about how much money costs or how much things cost, how much money do people make, what the fuck do you do with your money, all of the important things that are really important in learning about money. Yes. And so people have this thought, don't talk about money, it's rude, because it's actually because they're worried about being judged for how much they do or don't make, or they do or don't have. And it comes from a place of judgment versus I always come from a place of learning and wanting to provide transparent information and showing the reality and realisticness of it. Because also in the online space, not even only in the online space, but we're in the online space. So that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, absolutely.
People can blow numbers up and they say shit that's not true. And they're like, and not that perhaps they do, I had a 10K a month, a 20K a month or whatever, which they might do. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm always like, where is that money coming from? Where are the numbers? Is this a real thing? Because people will blow themselves up and they won't be transparent in order sometimes to draw clickbait rather, right? Of course, get people, she's making money, da 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 da. And so I just have always been so analytical and transparent about my money, which is why I wanted to provide it. And I also, I am a coach. So I coach dancers how to maximize their hustle inside and outside the club. And so I like showing, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I can make money dancing. This is how much money I'm making. But also within dancing, sometimes you have slow nights, and I also like to show that too. I have slow nights as well. We're not perfect, or you're not always going to have these awesome shifts, but it's a matter of being consistent and coming back. And so it's very important to me to be very transparent. I actually just launched a course, my Mind Your Money Honey course, the 6-week course.
Yeah.
And I laid all the numbers out. I said exactly how much money I sold. I said how much money I collected. And I also do, I follow the 10-10-10 principle. So I donate 10% of my income. And I literally showed this is my course sales. This was my cash collected. And this is the 10%. And I took a screenshot of my donation and I threw it on my story.
Love it.
I'm that transparent, and not everyone has to do that, but that's just how that's how I like to operate.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? You're totally right about the idea of building the numbers up. I find that really frustrating because it's not always realistic. And they may have made $20,000 in a month, but it might have been only that month. And the other 11, they didn't make anything, right? So I am actually becoming less and less interested in the results specifically, more interested in, okay, how did you get there? What is it that you're doing along the way? So yeah, I think you're totally right. We need to demystify that a lot more, and it does bring in the click through. Before I ask my next question, I just want could you explain, I know what your 10-10-10 rule is. Can you just give a quick, what's your 10-10-10?
Yes. Okay. So the 10-10-10 rule is a money allocation principle that I like to follow. And the 10 stand for 10% of your income. So each 10 stands for a different thing. So 10% spend on yourself. So that, like you're not supposed to be deprived. You don't have to make all these sacrifices and all this stuff. Like you work hard for your money. Like you can spend 10% on yourself, like no judgments. You want a shoes or you want whatever, like you go buy it,
And that's beyond like your rent and like putting food in your fridge.
Yeah, this is the extras. Obviously, my necessities, those are included in my bills. But this is like if I want to go get Lululemon or go get a massage or whatever, this is my fun money, 10%.
Gotcha.
And then the other 10% is safe because you can save obviously more than 10%. You have other savings goals, but at least a minimum, if you're just starting out, of 10% of your income saved. And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel secure. And watching that number grow makes you feel more confident about money and you're doing good things and you're making, progress. And then the last 10% is 10% give. And this is donating. And I am really a huge advocate for donating 10% of your income because money is a flow and it has to flow and circulate in order to bring more of it. And so if you close your hand and grasp onto the money that you have so tightly, which means not donating or not giving of it to people in need, how is more of it going to come into your life? You're focusing on the lack and the scarcity of money because you're grasping onto it. Versus like, I am abundant, I am provided for, and I have the availability to help other people in need. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I donate 10% of my income.
Love it. And just, do you calculate like your net income or your gross income, or do you care?
Well, at this stage, I don't care. I just donate 10% because my expenses really are not that much money for my online business and stuff. And so like, yeah, I could get more analytical and do just like my 10% of my profits or whatever, but I've been doing 10% gross.
Okay. I know some people get like really hung up, like it needs to be net or it needs to be gross. And okay.
Totally. And you know what, at the end of the day, like it's okay. That's good to be like specific about it and stuff, but like, just donate, like, if it feels better for you to donate after your like profits, not gross, do that. Like at least doing something,
Right. Yeah. Just connecting into the flow.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So you talked about the idea that money is a loaded topic, which it is, and stripping is a loaded topic. Like, so, I mean, I love it. You're just like, I'm taking them both on. I mean, totally honest about both of them. Now, I know, like, from everything that I see that you do and the way that you conduct yourself, I know you're a powerhouse human. So I know that, like, even though there's likely fear in there, I mean, you're still a living, breathing human, so there's probably like, holy crap, what the hell am I doing? But you have this, like, innate ability to be able to say, look, I'm going to do this anyway because I see this as for the greater good. What would you suggest for someone who's, like, they are trying to figure out what their niche is and like how to claim it, and especially if it's something that is maybe a bit taboo or where it's another loaded topic? Do you have advice or insight for people that are, kind of muddling through that right now?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for that compliment. That was so sweet. And I fully received that. So thank you very much for saying that. And I am human and I get scared shitless, but the thing is I do it anyways. Okay. And also I do want to point out, like, guys, like I didn't say this for 11 years. Like it took me 11 years to, do this for myself. And so even if someone, the people who are confident and like sure of themselves, sure, I am confident and sure of myself, but I am human and I have gone through the things and I understand how that feels. And if you are someone right now who is trying to figure out what your niche is, or perhaps you're in an industry that's taboo or something like mine and you don't want to like outwardly put yourself out there like that, that's going to go again down to like the deeper root of it. It's like, why are you judging yourself for whatever niche you're in or whatever your interests are or whatever? And if you're judging yourself, then you're telling the universe it's okay for everyone else to judge you too. And so if you come from a place of forgiveness and just owning your shit and just stepping into who you are, then things are going to fall into place. And like, you're doing it like for dancing. I was doing it anyways. And I'm fine with it in my normal life. I just needed to just be real with it and be accepting of it. And when I came out about dancing, it really made me think of the movie. Have you seen the movie 8 Mile with Eminem?
No, it's on my watch list, but haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Well, I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but at the very end of I'm sure if you're listening, you've heard this. At the very end of the movie, Eminem and some other guy, they do like this rap battle, and Eminem goes first. And when it's his turn to go, he literally, in rap battles, people are like dissing the other person, like, you suck, you're ugly, like what they say, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But in this one, Eminem flipped the script and he laid everything out about himself. Like he said every gossip, anything. He said everything about himself. And then he said, okay, your turn. Now what? And he totally just won the whole thing because he just laid it out and he just owned it. And it's like, that's what I felt like I did. I was like, I was Eminem in 8 Mile.
I have goosebumps hearing it.
Yeah. And so if you are struggling or whatever, don't judge yourself. Don't just do it. And actually you are going to get a lot more support and love than you understand. Like when I posted and came out about that, I got an overflow of people like, I am so proud of you. Like, this is so amazing. Like you are it was so many good, positive, such good positive feedback. So
yeah. I think the truth is when we step into the courage of owning our own, and let me just say, when we talk about owning, it's not the controversial, shove it in your face kind of owning. I think that's what we've seen, historically, that when somebody owns it, they're like, I don't really care what you think, and this is how it's going to be, and it's sort of all up in your face, which is not the kind of ownership that you're talking about. You're talking about taking it in and saying, this is my story. This is, this is my experience. This is where I came from. This is what I'm doing. And it's not about you to judge or whatever, but this is who I am and this is how I got here. That's the ownership that you're talking about.
Yeah. I never ever said, or will I ever say, I'm a stripper, fuck you, I don't care what you think about it. No, I just say, I'm a dancer and here's the benefits that I learned from it. And here's how you can implement this into your own life too. It's totally a different way of eloquently owning it versus, because if you're doing it the other way and you're aggressively putting it in someone's face, there's still a wall up. You're still hiding something if you're showing up that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important for other people to hear as well, there is a difference between the two, and that you can confidently step into it without, being all kinds of making people hate you.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's what really brings your true following comes in when you are owning it in a holistic way, in a way that is, not about this confrontational way, but saying, look, I get it. This is where I come from. This is what I'm doing. So I think that really draws people in.
Yeah, I agree. Because I dance, but I also am a coach and a manifestation expert. And so it's how beautiful can I relate lessons and teachings from going in and working certain shifts and then giving people actionable, implementable, help specifically with manifestation. I'm actually really happy for where I'm at right now.
Love it. Now I am curious, because your focus is on dancers now specifically, and you talk about coaching other dancers to maximize their hustle, both inside and outside. What does it look like outside? Are these women that are wanting to start their own business? Are they doing a variety of different businesses? What does that look like? What does it look like for your clients?
Yeah. So great question. So dancing is an amazing opportunity and you can make a lot of money and you can make it very quickly. But here's the thing is that there's a time cap on it. Yeah, you can dance. There's people who dance in their 40s and 50s for sure. But in general speaking, people don't want to be a dancer forever, right? And so the time that you're in there, the money that you make, you want to utilize that as a launch pad for your future success. And you want to set yourself up financially to succeed. And how you do that, how I coach people in doing that is, in fact, setting up businesses outside of the club, because I understand the cash flow that we get. I understand the scheduling. I understand the benefits and all of the things that come within dancing, but I'm also an entrepreneur and I'm also a businesswoman and a business owner. And so I can coach dancers and I understand all of the things that go into that. And I also understand all the things that go into business. And so by building something on the outside of the club, like setting up an online business, whatever it is, digital courses, digital products, coaching, membership sites, whatever it is, like on the tech online side, I help coach them to get that stuff set up. So that way, when and if they're ready to exit dancing, they have this business, this income coming in that they can gracefully walk away from dancing, but still maintain that level of income. Because as dancers, we make money and we get accustomed to a certain money that comes in that isn't necessarily, quote, easy, I guess, to just like find a normal job and make that kind of money. Yep. And so in order to, keep moving forward with your financial goals and with your lifestyle and with the kind of money that you want, like it's really important to learn how to build a business and how to successfully and strategically build that business.
Right.
Yeah. I actually have a group coaching program that's launching this fall. It's called the Rainmaker Academy, and it's specifically for dancers who are wanting to start an online business. So it's like dancing, manifestation, business, step-by-step integration. Like I'm working on it right now and I'm really excited.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You'll have to let us know when it goes live and I'll post some update links for the listeners to be able to like catch into it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I love it. Very cool. Yeah. I find that really quite interesting. And I think that so where I live now, the industries around are super dependent on oil, and oil obviously has been really struggling the last few years, and in Canada in particular. So what I find fascinating about what you're teaching these dancers is that it's beyond just looking at, okay, we're doing really well right now. So we're just not going to rock the boat. We're just going to love it. We're going to be in it. And then we'll worry about the future later. And you're saying it's not about worrying about the future, but it's about creating the next opportunity. So you're creating this transition and not necessarily assigning a timeline to it. Because I imagine that the clients that you're working with aren't like, I have to leave in the next year, or, they might just be, they could be 25 and not really interested in retiring until they're like 35. So they're just growing it in the meantime.
Yeah, that's a really great point that you made too, is because with business, especially like starting business and online business, like with an online business, you have to grow and nurture an audience, and that takes time, obviously. And when even in manifestations, when you put like a time on it and you're like, it has to happen by this time. Yes, it's great to set goals and then to make actionable steps to work towards that goal. But when you say like, I have to be done dancing within a year or whatever, and you're trying to build this, like the how and the when is not your job in manifestation, right? In manifestation, my job is to make the ask and to take the action. The how and the when is not my decision, and that's not my part. That is the universe's part, and that's how we are co-creators. Right. And so when people say, I have to be out in a year, that's a great goal, but do not get attached to the outcome. If it takes longer than a year, that's okay. And if it happens faster than a year, then that's freaking awesome too. But you can't be so attached to a timeline outcome. But it is important to be aware of it and to take steps every single day towards where you want to go.
Okay, so I want to touch on this a bit more specifically because lots of coaches and, gurus, experts say, set a goal, set a date. It has to be by this time. Some people call it your, burn the boats kind of date. Now, the challenge that I know I found around manifestation is always the date. Because it's always like, all right, I can do the work and I can do I can set the intention and make the ask. But if I have set a date that's like, 3 months from now and the universe is like, it's going to take a little longer than that, sister, then I know I feel disappointed because I feel like somehow I've let something down. Could you touch on that a little bit further? Because we hear it so often that, claim a date, set the intention to be there. And then if that happens, great. But more if it doesn't happen by that date, how can people not be discouraged by it?
Yeah, that's a really great question because like it is important to set goals as a businesswoman, as a human being. Yeah, absolutely set goals. And you can set a time goal to break it down backwards to figure out like the actionable steps to get you to where you need to go. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Mm-hmm. But putting all of the focus and the energy onto that end date. And then if you get to that date and you haven't made it, Like, why are you going to feel bad about yourself? And why are you going to beat yourself up? Look at how far you've come. Like, the secret to manifestation is to detach from the outcome. And yes, we say we want things, and yes, we make dates, and yes, we make plans. But as soon as you're okay with not having it, and this is the paradox of manifesting, as soon as you let it go and you don't need it and you're okay with not having it, that's how the universe brings it into you. And that's how your manifestations materialize quicker, is by letting it go. So you definitely, like, manifestation's a dance, right? And there's lots of different parts to it. So yeah, you do have to take action and you have to make the ask, but you have to detach from the outcome. I have had tons of times in my life where I've wanted things to happen by a certain date, and I have felt so short of that, right? And I've gone through the feelings of, I'm not good enough. Like, why did this not happen for me? I'm doing something wrong and all this kind of stuff. And I always have to bring it back and remind myself that life is happening for me, not to me. And if I don't have it now, there's a reason, right? And the universe is training you always. And so perhaps, like, if you are wanting to, say you're making $5,000 a month and you want to go hit to 10K months and you're not getting there yet, maybe there are lessons that you need to learn at this point in order to achieve that next level of success. Maybe there's skills that you need to sharpen. Maybe there are other people you need to meet. Maybe there's like more knowledge that you need to cultivate, or a different program you need to implement. There's something going on and something to be learned from the situation. And if you can learn to shift your focus and your attention onto what can I learn from this? Like, how can I be better, versus what did I do wrong? What the fuck? Like, it's a completely different energetic shift, and an energetic block, like what we were talking about earlier.
Can you give a couple examples of some like questions to help? Because I talk about that. I think I've touched on in other podcast episodes as well. Questions that you can ask to get beyond the "what am I doing wrong?" Like, so one of my favorites is, what would it take for whatever? So if I wanted to manifest like $1,000 in my account, what would it take for $1,000 to come in? Do you have like questions that listeners can like think about and go, oh, okay, I'm not reaching that goal. These are some brain opening questions.
Yeah. So that is kind of just like a reframe. Like in NLP, a technique is reframing, right? Because we have, it's like a law. It's like the law of the law of relativity is, we choose how we interpret situations, right? And so we can attach the meaning onto the situation. And so an example for questions to ask yourself better, I'll give it a specific example. So one of my friends, the girl who I was just interviewing for my podcast, her podcast is about to hit 10,000 downloads. And my podcast, she started it after mine, and I've had mine longer. I don't have 10,000 downloads on my podcast yet. But instead of looking at her and being like, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I get those 10,000 podcast downloads? Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Instead, I look at the fact, I celebrate her for what she's achieving and what she's having. I see the fact that it's possible, and my niche is validated. Like all of, so you just have to shift your perspective to seeing what are the teachings, look at like what's possible, and then just attacking it differently from like I can do this kind of a standpoint.
Love it. Oh, I love it. And I love that you touch on the idea of celebrating other people's wins as well, because it doesn't, just like you're having money doesn't take away from somebody else having money. If someone else has a great win, like the downloads or the followers or what have you, it doesn't take away from me. It was just like, that's a great example of the fact that it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like people can follow more than one Instagram account. People can listen to more than one podcast episode. Like they can be subscribed to more than one. And so when you celebrate other people, you are literally, because manifestation is all about energy, right? And the vibration and the frequency that we're putting out. And when you're in celebration, what does that feel like? Happy, joyful, excitement, like all of these good, positive feelings. And when you stay in that vibe and that feeling, you're going to bring more situations into your life that are going to give you more things to celebrate. And when you focus on like the lack and you're mad and you're frustrated about why you don't have this, those feelings don't feel good. And that's what you're perpetuating. And then you're going to bring in more situations into your life of negative things that don't make you feel good, sad, frustrating events. And so it's always important. Also, when you see someone else manifesting something that you want. Another reason to celebrate that is because things don't happen by coincidence, right? Like you're not just seeing these numbers or hearing these numbers for like no reason. The fact that you are seeing it, hearing it, and experiencing it means that you are vibrating on the same frequency of it. There's just a little adjustment that needs to happen. There's just a little refinery or clarity that the universe needs from you to bring it into your life. And so when I see someone having what I want, I get really excited because I'm that much closer.
Oh my gosh, I got like serious goosebumps over here. I love it. And I want to just touch base on why I love that so much. So I think you're familiar with Amy Porterfield.
Yes.
And probably James Wedmore. Both like powerhouse people in their own right. So I didn't know either of those names in December. I'd never heard of them. They've been around for years. They'd never come across my like realm of knowledge ever. But I was at the beginning of starting this, like the business, this is my second business. And my goal in this business is to become a multi-million-dollar company because I see where that will go. And I think I'm really excited about it. And like literally it was an ad, was like totally random, an ad of Amy Porterfield's that popped up that brought me into a masterclass, that brought me into a course. And I've just watched over the last 6 months, like these continual multi-millionaire online businesses have been cascading in. So I'm like freaking excited. I'm like, if those people are coming into my sphere, I'm on the right track, baby.
Yeah. And your reticular activating system is engaged because that's what you are wanting to see is find opportunities and evidence of the fact of multi-million-dollar online businesses. And so what is the universe bringing to you? What is your subconscious mind bringing to you? More evidence that yes, you're on the right path. Yes, you can do it too. And here's proof.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. This is going to be like my little snapshot, guys. I'm going to put that on my phone. So when I wake up in the morning, I'll be like, look, baby, we're on the right track. I do want to touch real quick on the idea of detaching from the outcome. And if my coach listens to this episode, she's going to be like, oh my God, Amy, we've been talking about this for weeks. But what I want to talk about specifically, so when you were talking about the idea of like, this is the outcome, this is the goal that I want to have, and detaching from that outcome. Now, I will say, I'll be totally honest, that is a huge challenge for me that I am currently learning through. I'm 100% in process of learning how to detach from that outcome. And on certain things, it's easier for me than others. And I'm sure most people are the same way. So a really cool thing, for years, I had on my vision board, I wanted a Subaru WRX. It's a fantastic car. I had it all like picked out, specced out. I test drove it. I did everything I was supposed to do. That was the car that I wanted. But it was like a $40,000 car. And I'm like, how am I ever going to bring that in? And I had a job at the time. I was on my way home from work one evening and stopped at a light. I was like 5 minutes from the house. And I see an older one. So now it's a sedan and it used to be a hatchback. And I saw a hatchback sitting at the light. And I just had this thought, the date that I had set on my vision board for when I wanted to get this WRX had come and gone. It was like a month or two before. And I saw this car sitting there and I went, what if I looked at a pre-owned one instead of a brand new one, right? Then the cost would be easier to take and, we're not taking all the loss, 5 minutes later, I get home. I'm talking about this with my boyfriend while I'm making dinner. He looks up. There are 5. There are 5 options in my city. This is it's not a car that comes out very often. And only one of them was in white. And the white one, which is the color that was on my vision board, was within a price range I thought I could have. Literally, it was a Thursday night that I came home and said, hey, babe, what if I looked at a pre-owned option instead of going brand new? A week later, exactly, it was sitting in my garage.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like, it was a small change. It was the detachment of that outcome of like, it has to be this. And hey, what if it's this instead? And like, I love my car. I talk about it all the time in my podcast and I talk about it all over the place. Like, I love it. I love driving it. I talk about the fact that I'm so grateful that it's a hatchback versus a sedan because it's super useful. So to me, that's a great example of like, not just detaching from the outcome, but also looking at it as sometimes it's a little bit different, and that little bit different doesn't mean that it's less, right? It could be more. Some people could look at it and go, well, you have a car that's a few years older and, wouldn't it be cooler if you had a brand new one? And I'm looking at it like, well, I could have a brand new one, but I can't put my skis in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I love that story. That's so awesome. You detached from the how. You were flexible in how it was, and the universe brought to you what you wanted in your highest and best good, because I guarantee you that extra money that you saved was probably implemented in some other area of your life that's going to help build your online $1 million business or somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And so there's plans for everything. And so just because you didn't have this brand new doesn't mean you didn't get what you want. How much do you freaking love that car you just were telling me? Like, that's amazing. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, I love it. So I think I just wanted to share that here. Okay, we are nearing our time when I was like, I gotta pay attention to the time because I could talk all day long about manifestation and all of it. So I want to do like a little rapid fire question. I have 6 questions for you.
Okay.
We're going to keep the answers nice and tight, and they're sort of a little all over the place. All right, ready?
Got it.
All right, first one. How did you find your first coaching clients?
How did I find my first coaching clients? Online, through my podcast.
Okay, cool. What are the top 3 people that you admire and learn from?
Oh gosh. Catherine Zankina of Manifestation Babe. I love her so much. She's so amazing. So good. Tony Robbins. Love him. He's awesome. And my dad.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
What are your 3 favorite manifestation practices?
Oh, my 3 favorite manifestation practices. One is the affirmations. I love affirming to myself positive things over and over and over again. 2, gratitude. I love giving gratitude. I am such a sensitive person. I literally cry all the time, like with gratitude. I cried this morning when I was like journaling. Like I just felt so grateful and I just started crying and I was like, this is a good day. So gratitude. And then the third part that I love of manifestation practices is receiving, because I love receiving what it is I'm wanting to manifest.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I really quick, you mentioned, I think it was a couple episodes ago, I was literally listening to it this week at the gym, about an affirmation app or an app that you use for your affirmations.
Yeah, it's called I think it's called We Are Creators.
Is that the one where you can record it in your own voice?
Yes, that is. So I record my own voice saying the affirmations that I want. And then when you go to bed, the first, or when you're falling asleep, your brain changes states, the brain waves, the first 10 to 15 minutes when you're falling asleep. And so when you are changing those brain states, your subconscious mind takes on what it's hearing to be the truth. And so to feed and to condition and to reprogram your subconscious mind, you have to be mindful about what you're listening to as you're falling asleep. And so you fall asleep every day. So you might as well utilize that time. And so I listen to Abraham Hicks, or I listen to Tony Robbins, or I listen to my own voice recorded affirmations saying the new positive beliefs that I want to take on to be my truth. And it's like I've done this for like almost 2 years now, and it's amazing.
What is one item on your vision board right now that you're manifesting into reality?
Trip to Australia.
Ooh, I love it.
Yes.
How long? Do you have is it 2 weeks? Is it 6 weeks? Is it?
I don't know how long the trip's going to be, but I host a retreat in Bali in February. And I just interviewed a different girl. She's a stripper actually in Australia, and she does her own like NLP coaching kind of stuff. And so I am thinking that I wanted to go to Australia since I was 16 years old, like forever. And so I'm going to be in Bali, and I'm thinking I'm just going to pop down to Australia, and then we're going to work together actually in Melbourne and work a few shifts. So.
Oh, I love it. Super excited. Okay. What are you most excited about in turning 30?
What am I most excited about? Oh, okay. Want me to give a real answer?
Yeah, I do.
right before my birthday, my aunt bought me for my birthday present a birth chart reading. And in the birth chart reading, she was saying a ton of information or whatever, but she said that you are not going to get married until after the age of 30, but you're going to meet someone and it's going to happen quickly. And so I was in a long-term relationship in most of my 20s, obviously not with that person anymore. Like I've been single for 2 years and stuff. And so hearing that, I was like, yeah, like let's turn 30. Like I want to get married. So I think I was excited about that.
Heck yeah, I love it. I love that you're being totally honest, but some people would be like, I don't want to say that. No, I love it.
I don't know, fuck it. Maybe where is he? Come calling him into my life.
Go buy the dress already, baby.
Yeah, ready.
Love it. All right, last question. Where can people that are listening into us today go to find more about you?
Okay, so I am on Instagram all the time. My Instagram handle is at the.paige.cole. I have a Facebook group. It's called Rainmakers. I have a podcast. It's called Make It Rain. It used to be called The Paige Cole Show, but I have since transitioned and changed it to call it Make It Rain. And because I thought that was fitting. Yeah. And also you can find me on my website if you want more information or course information or offerings or anything. It's paigecole.com.
Cool. And you mentioned that in the fall, you have the Rainmakers Academy coming out?
Yes. Actually right now, August 19th, I am launching a free book club. I wrote a book. It's called Manifesting Like a Boss Babe. It's a 21-day step-by-step guide to manifestation. And I am hosting a free book club. And so what that is basically it's going to be 22 days of live free training. I'm going to do it in my my Rainmakers Facebook group. And we're just going to do like a book club. Like I'm going to give a teaching on the chapter. I'm going to tell how manifestation in that chapter implements into stripping and also implements into business building, like give you like more strategy and coaching behind it. And it's just going to be a really awesome way to kind of like experience the content and my teachings and then also like vibe with other people. So I'm really excited about that. That's starting in August.
Nice. Love it. Yeah. And just because not everybody's a dancer, I'm sure that the information that you're going to be teaching will apply to those who don't do that.
Yes.
In any arena of life, it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, the book, it's not written specifically for strippers, but I definitely am going to implement like specifically how to implement it for dancing, but not just dancing, just also for business as well. So like if you're an online business babe, or just in general, if you are not where it is that you want to be in life, this information can be implemented to get you to where it is that you want to go. So yeah, strippers and non-strippers.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I love it. I know that, so, I mean, I talk about this all the time about getting clear about, I call them your perfect client. Like, who do you really want to work with or serve? And even though you're getting specific, like your specific niche is to work with dancers, that does not exclude others. The way I look at it is it's like you're tailoring to this particular, group of people that they'll align with you really well. But in that alignment, you're going to draw more people into you as well.
Yes. And perfect example of that is my program, Mind Your Money, Honey, that I just launched. The people that enrolled, half of the girls are strippers and half are not. Mm-hmm. But the content's for everyone and the teachings are going to be for everyone. Mm-hmm. And so it's exactly how it is. Yeah.
Love it. Cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I have loved every minute of this and I can't wait to go back and like edit it because I'm probably going to it'll be like days. I'll be in here just listening to it over and over again. I love it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're totally welcome. All right. So I'm going to post links in the show notes afterwards, how they can catch up with you a little bit further, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And I'll make a note of the dates as well. All right, Changemakers, I trust that you loved that interview, listening to it as much as I enjoyed recording it and connecting with Paige. It was such a phenomenal hour for me to spend with her and to find out, some of her tips and tricks and understand better about how she claimed her niche and how she went forward on all of it. Now, I definitely recommend that you go find her on Instagram. You can find her again at the.paige.cole and be sure to join her Facebook group. And one more quick reminder, I believe her book club starts very soon. If you're listening to this on the day or the week that this podcast episode comes out, then her book club should be starting in just a couple of days. So definitely go and check that out. And as I close up today's podcast, I just want to remind you again of some text that Paige had in one of her emails. Money doesn't change who you are. It is an amplifier to who you are as a human being. Since you already are a heart-centered person, it only enhances those beautiful attributes. In fact, learning more about money and calling more of it into your life actually serves and lifts those around you. I trust that you will take that as deep inspiration as you move forward. And I am in my own money journey. I'm in a big, deep growth pattern right now, a huge cycle right now in my life, and money is one of the biggest things that's inside that growth cycle. So I love Paige's words. I trust that they will land with you exactly where and how they should, and I wish you all the best, a wonderful week ahead. I'm so looking forward to seeing you on next week's podcast episode. And please, as I said before, I would love it if you take a screenshot of you listening to this podcast episode and post it up on your Instagram stories. And be sure to tag both myself at I Dare to Begin and Paige at the.paige.cole so we can celebrate you listening in to us as well. With that, I wish you a phenomenal week. So looking forward to connecting with you again next week. Bye for now.